Sho Genge, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Gugulethu Nyanzumba, Jujuletwa, Sishji you to some, and this is Uncomfortable Growth. To my returning subscribers to the Genge, I hope that you guys are well at home, and to those that are passing by, or rants, hopefully you like what you see and you join the Genge because we're on the road to 70k. It didn't come off as smooth as what I thought it was going to, but yeah, we're on the road to 70,000. The other week we hit 64k, and I know I haven't been here, so we haven't been able to, like, you know, y'all maybe didn't notice, but yeah, we're on 64k, road to 65k, which is then road to 70k. And I actually just realized that the next big number or milestone I'm working towards is 100k, which is crazy to say, and I'm getting so excited. Like, I have ideas, guys. I will celebrate that milestone accordingly. Do you hear me? I don't know why I'm threatening you guys with the celebration, but I will sit here. Woo! I feel like my team's gonna be a bit stressed because I keep kind of changing the concept. I have so many plans. I don't know how we're gonna afford it, but it's really gonna happen. So guys, apologies for not being here. Hopefully I win with this video. I've tried to record this video twice before. The first time I just looked like my problems. I looked terrible in that video. Ew. And normally I don't care what I look like to some extent, and that's why I can just like sit down and record, but not that one here. I could really see my problems on my face. And then the second time I was out of focus and I was like, wow, the devil is persevering. So this is the third time, and hopefully third time lucky. But what has also put me off doing this video is the fact that, like, I don't have the answers, Sway. Every time I put up a poll on Instagram asking what topics you guys would like for me to speak on, this matter comes up all the time. I was live just the other day or last week or this week, whenever, and someone asked for me to speak on it there. And even in my comments in one of my most recent YouTube videos, someone asked for me to speak about it there. So I was like, damn, y'all really want me to speak about this, and I feel like I don't have the answers. But I've also come to realize that you guys don't watch. You're not necessarily always looking for answers. Sometimes it's about being able to relate to my story, being able to learn from my mistakes, and more importantly, seeing that you can take yourself out of a very dark place or that situation. So yeah, I'm just gonna speak to what I know. But the topic at hand is, how does one get over a past relationship and ex? And it's like, that question is so higher grade. It is so above me because we ain't got the answers, and for the most part I don't think anyone knows the answer to that question, and I don't necessarily think there is an answer. Relationships are so different. Often when you break up, you're healing from multiple things at once. Like, you're dealing with the fact that you are no longer with that person, so you're dealing with the breakup, and then you may be healing from things that happened within that relationship. But the biggest thing, or the first thing that came to me when thinking about this topic, was making peace and acceptance. So making peace that the relationship is over, making peace that the relationship was what it was, be it toxic, be it a sad space, making peace with who you were, making peace with who that person was towards you, making peace with what you had allowed for yourself to endure in the relationship, just making peace with everything. And already I feel like I don't even know if that's a tip, because that in and of itself is so loaded, and that takes accountability. So as a person, I really struggle to move past situations, not even outside of romantic situations, just any situation, if I don't fully understand what happened. Like, guys, I live in my past. I've said this before. I'm someone who loves to dwell in the past, so I'm always actively having to get myself out of it, even if there's situations that I didn't understand. I was delaying my healing by not being accountable. Because I wasn't open to seeing the role that I played and the person that I was and the things that I did in those situations, I found them repeating themselves in life, you know, and that's not what you want. And that's also a very big part of the healing process, accepting who you were, what you did, and the hand you had to play in that relationship. Of course, I do understand that, like, for the most part, not most part, but like, one person would be like more in the wrong than the other, you know. But even if that is your situation, don't think you were perfect in the relationship, because you aren't a perfect person. But that doesn't mean you've done any wrong. But yeah, just making peace with the situation in its entirety, like who you were, what it was, and the fact that it is over. And I used to, like, we'd break up and then I'd be like, well, we're gonna get back together next week, which was the case, because it was like a breakup makeup, breakup, which is not like healthy. Please, that's not the norm. I do think it's sometimes a little bit of a natural thing to do. Like it helps, it comforts you, you know, to know that this breakup isn't forever. It's like, bruh, we just fighting right now, and I know my man, he gonna come, and then he don't come, and then it's like you're dealing with a double whammy. You're dealing with a breakup, and you're dealing with the fact that you had sold yourself a dream. Like you create this reality to cushion you, which is only working against you. And I know feelings suck, and that's why we want to create like different narratives or have these thoughts that are gonna make us feel better about ourselves and so forth. But in my opinion, it delays your healing. You would rather feel and sit through the thick of it and experience the most of it to know that you're going to come out of it and be okay and a better person at the end of the day, because that's what it's about. It's also important to realize that for the most part, when it comes to people's love stories, not everyone marries their high school sweetheart, like, you know, and they go to varsity, then they get married, and that's that. That's not most of our stories. Most of us will have multiple relationships in life. So it's also really important to look at relationships as a moment or as something that was conducive to who you were at that time, you know. I've really come to appreciate moments in life. You might not be with that person forever. So maybe rather learn to enjoy that moment with that person and be super present and be welcoming to it being whatever it needs to be. If that is a relationship that's going to serve you for a certain season, then let it be that. Learn what you can from it, embrace it, enjoy it. But if it doesn't work out, that's okay. Even friendships, you may think that some friendships are forever, and then they aren't, and you learn they aren't, and it's heartbreaking for sure. It really is. But be accepting or welcoming to the fact that, you know what, that was a friendship that served me in that time, and it don't serve me no more, and it sucks that it ended. Let go of the thought that all relationships have to last forever. You know, you don't know, and that's the scary thing about life. Also keep in mind that you engage in certain relations or relationships at specific points in your life, which speak to who you are and what you need. Like, the things that I was looking for in a partner in high school are definitely not the things that I'd be looking for a partner now. But even so, that's a really realistic jump. But even like 2-3 years ago, even a year ago, like what I want now is different from what I may have needed then. And maybe last year I was in a relationship that I felt was conducive to what I needed at that time. And now looking at it, like it wouldn't serve me in the same manner now. And that's okay. There shouldn't be a pressure to make everything work forever, you know, or like for the relationship to see marriage. It needs to organically go in that direction. If you feel like you're going against the grain, then I don't necessarily think that's your husband, you know. Not that relationships don't get easier, but if you're struggling for the most part of it, don't think that the more time you spend, things might get better, you know. Like sometimes you need to take a situation for what it is and analyze it and see like, yo, do I really think that there is potential, or do I think that maybe right now this is not something that I can do? So if you and your partner are to get married, it should be because it's organic, because you've been together, you have good communication, you trust them, you know, you naturally feel like your relationship is progressing in that direction, but not because like we both know we're working towards marriage and we're forcing it. And you can feel it, or not that you can feel it, but it doesn't need to be forced, because it's something that it happens naturally. Like let your relationship grow to that place and to that point where that starts being the conversation. I obviously know that breakups are very hard because you and this person have a world together, you know, they become part of your routine. You are entangled in some shape, manner or form, you know, whether it's you used to speak every day, the family knows of each other. That's why I feel like they are levels to like breakups, you know. All heartache sucks, but like you obviously have someone who is going through maybe something minor, and then you have someone like Summer Walker who was with London on the Track for some time. She sings about traveling the world and them having done everything and chasing the bag together, and that sort of heartbreak I can't even imagine. You see, where kids are involved, we've built a real life. It's me and you. Like divorce, I can't even wrap my head around it. Like I can't imagine just how intense and sad and overwhelming that feeling is, or that heartbreak is, you know. I haven't experienced that, but what I have experienced already feels like I was holding on by a thread. Okay, I thought I was gonna die. Like I did not see myself coming out of it. I did not see myself without that person, and that's when I also learned certain things about myself, that I can really anchor myself in the things that are around me and the people around me. And back then it obviously was unhealthy, or it was done in an unhealthy sense, in that I didn't know who I was outside of certain people and relationships. So I had to learn that that's not the case. You know, someone can be a part of your life, but I'm still Gugu. Like, we're two whole entities coming together to experience each other. And when we walk away, we will walk away as whole people because we came into it as whole people. And I didn't necessarily understand that. Like, I was like throwing myself at certain relationships and giving so much of myself because I felt like that's what a relationship is. You just put yourself on the line. You don't care about your boundaries, you know, like your feelings come second, and that's not a healthy space to be in, and that's not how a healthy relationship is run. So even when dealing with heartbreak, I don't know where, like, on the scale or the spectrum it is that you fall. So it can take longer, it can feel harder. I don't know if like some breakups are getting easier. No, I wouldn't say breakups, oh, they get easier. I just feel, I feel like you feel such different things. And I'm always so shocked when I feel like a different emotion that I haven't felt before, which is wild to say, you know, like there are different variations of sad, there's different variation of heartbreak, of guilt, of whatever. And it's so interesting to me when I feel something, I'm like, well, this is a new feeling. But you need to also allow yourself to grow from your last relationship. No matter what the situation was, no matter what role you played in it, obviously hoping that you have taken accountability and have allowed for yourself to grow and become a better person and partner, but you should not let your past hinder you from future relationships, you know? Don't stay in the past because there's nothing you can do about it. You can do a lot about your relationships now and the present. So I know it can be very daunting, especially after a really big breakup, like having to put yourself out there. And naturally, as a person, I'm so protective over myself. Like I've learned to become that way. Like that's why I'm so grateful for safe spaces, and that's why I want for everyone around me to feel like a safe space, because I know what it feels like to not feel safe in a space, and I know what it feels like to not truly enjoy myself in a space, feel like I can't be myself in a space, be constantly sad in a space. And I said, no sir, not me, no more. So yeah, but it can get a little bit toxic in that I've tried to protect myself in a manner that is not realistic. Like I would quite literally try avoid relationships at all costs because I don't want my heart broken. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to have to unpack this. And that's not how life is. Like to live is, hey guys, to live is to see, hey, and to live is to experience. And living, a very big part of living is learning how to navigate relationships and growing from relationships. I feel like you can learn so much through your relationships, not even romantic, like your friends, your family, whatever, but there is so much growth and love and nurturing that a relationship provides that I think is so important for human growth. In my singleness rather, like I went from protecting myself, and then I quickly realized that, or I liked being like independent. I hate depending on anyone for anything. Like in my most extreme thinking, I wish I could just rely on myself, like not have to have relationships at all, be so self-sufficient that it's just be myself and now that's all I got in the end. And that's not realistic because one, obviously I have the most amazing people around me and I'm so grateful for it, but in my most extreme thinking, that's how far independent I would like to be. So, but I applied it healthily in my life in that I don't want to wait on someone for certain things and certain experiences, even when it comes to romantic gestures, which I feel like as women, you just wait. Like you will see someone receive flowers on the timeline and you're like, oh my gosh, well, I can't wait. I would cry for 90 days. I've never before. And granted, maybe you may not buy yourself 100 roses because like that's a bit expensive, you know what I'm saying? Can't really just be doing that off of a whim, haha. But if you're at Woolworths and you see some flowers, or you just have the money to buy yourself flowers, do so. After my breakup, we used to do things that I used to like in the relationship, and I'm assuming that that party also liked them, hence we both did them. But I know I like to do those activities. And when the breakup happened, I stopped doing all of that, which was obviously making me that much sadder, that much more in my head and like overthinking and so forth, because I just wasn't allowing myself to experience life and to live. Like I was so in my head, so sad, didn't think I deserved to be happy, didn't think I deserved to laugh, to and I strongly encourage people to still do the things that they like. And obviously it was hard for me at the time because I had but my most recent memories of these activities was with someone. But I knew that like Gugu is about it. Like I love to book Airbnb, so I'm a booking Airbnb. And not every space is the same, you know. I'm not saying go to the same spots that y'all went to, nah, but I do think you should allow yourself to explore that again and explore yourself. And the hardest part for me was sussing out who the fuck I was. Like, who was I outside of this relationship? Who was I as a person? Like, who is Gugu? What does she stand for? What does she like to do? Like, what is she about, shawty? What you about, shawty? What you about? And I had lost that because I had taken on a character and a personality that was just so far from who I really was, and I had taken on other characteristics from the people around me that again wasn't who I was at my core. So that's also, I know it's such a daunting experience, but it's been so rewarding. Like, the amount of personal growth that I have done in my singleness, in the short amount of time that I've been single, and not that I think I've been single for short, but the amount of growth that I've done in that time, crazy, yeah. I'm aware that the reason I am at the place at which I am at in like my career, or the fact that I'm doing well, or just at a better place in my life, is because I was able to focus on myself. I was able to heal from what I needed to heal from. I just had so much more space and time for God, because it was just me and him, and he was really just breathing life back into me and redirecting me and showing me where it is that he wants for me to go. So again, like, that's why sometimes I struggle to let up my singleness, because child, if God is gonna send me to America to go do a little job, to go do a little something, I'ma go. If the Lord wants me in the UK with the mandem, maybe I'm saying this so he, you know, I don't know if he wants it for me, but hopefully he hears it and then he wants it for me or something like that. I'm packing up my shit and I'ma go. Like, I really enjoy being able to do whatever it is that I want to do when I want to do it. And I think that's because in my past relationships I couldn't do that. You know, I think I'm the person I am today because I know what it's like on the other side, on the flip side, and I'm never gonna go back to that. So no. I do want to end this video off just by reassuring you. I don't know if I've said any sense here, but love gets better. I believe in a better love after every relationship, just because you become a better person, and in you learning how to love yourself better and be there for yourself better, I think you just naturally attract better relationships. So yeah, and I'm honestly, it would be nice to assume that people are also doing the work and getting better themselves, so they don't come and try to traumatize us once we've been doing the work. But I do think a better love is waiting for you, and I know that you may feel like you can't go on without this person and that you don't see life without them, and that's okay. Sit in that, feel that. Guys, when Elaine dropped her project, I cannot tell you how much it saved my life. The line, cry all you need, just let it bleed, carried me. Guys, I don't know any truer words. Like, when it came to my breakup, I would recite those words to myself. Like, as soon as I wanted to cry and I held myself back, I was like, ooh, no, like, cry. And I cried and I cried and I cried and I cried and I cried. You even get tired of crying, you get over crying. You're like, bitch, you still crying till this motherfucking day, nigga, you crying? But you have to do what you have to do, you know? Love is such an overwhelming and big emotion that getting over a past love is also a very big thing to do. So I really want to encourage for people to be able to do what it is that they need to do to feel okay, and that it is a long journey and a long process, but you'll get yourself out of that dark space and that dark hole for sure. And the last thing I also want to say is that there is no shame in failed relationships. I at some point had so much shame that like my relationship didn't work, and I was like, ugh, my word, I'm without a man, I'm without this, and it speaks so much to the person that I am. It's like, no sis, at that point in your life you didn't know certain things, the relationship just wasn't working, and that is okay. There is no shame in a failed relationship. There is no shame in having had hope in someone. There's no shame in having loved someone publicly. There's no shame to love. You know, you do what you can and you do what you think is right, and if you have a lot of love to give and it just didn't work out, that is okay. There's no shame in that. You were being true to yourself. You were loving the best that you know how. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna end the video. I hope y'all got a little something. I hope I said something, and that is not just big vibes in this video. Yeah, but I miss you guys and I hope you guys are well. I will see you sometime soon.